My precious child, this is not an accident. This is not a coincidence. This is not just another video crossing your path. The timing is too precise. The moment is too charged. Heaven has aligned this message for you because the clock is not just ticking on your wall. It is ticking in the spiritual realm. And before 11:59 p.m., something must be revealed. Before 11:57 p.m., you must understand what I am about to show you. You are seeing this message because I want you to know this hidden truth. There is a person who fell in love with you. Yes, you already feel who I am talking about. The one who watches silently. The one who acts distant but feels deeply. The one whose energy shifts when your name is mentioned. They are involved in something you do not fully see yet. And if you ignore this now, you may miss the warning that was sent to protect you. Archangel Michael stands beside you at this very hour. Not in fear, not in panic, but in divine strategy. He has drawn his sword not to harm but to expose, to reveal what has been hidden behind smiles, behind sweet words, behind late-night thoughts. Listen carefully. This person's love is real, but their situation is complicated. There are conversations happening about you that you have not heard. There are emotions that have grown stronger than they expected. And there are decisions forming in secret that will soon surface. The involvement I speak of is not random. It connects to loyalty, truth, and a choice that will shift your path. You have sensed something lately, haven't you? A strange feeling, a pull in your spirit, a thought about them that comes suddenly. That is not your imagination. That is spiritual discernment activating. Archangel Michael is revealing that this person is standing at a crossroads. They are entangled in influences that do not want you to align. There are external voices. There are pressures. There may even be another presence trying to interfere with what was meant to grow naturally. But here is the hidden truth. Their heart keeps returning to you. Even when they try to distract themselves. Even when they act uninterested. Even when pride tells them to stay silent. Your soul has already chosen. However, love alone is not enough if truth is delayed. Before 11:59 p.m. tonight, something will shift in their mind. A realization. A vision. A moment where they can no longer ignore what they feel or what they are involved in. The reason you were guided here is so you do not misinterpret what happens next. Because when the truth begins to surface, it may look confusing at first. You might see distance before closeness, silence before confession, tension before clarity. Do not panic when that happens. Archangel Michael says this exposure is necessary. Hidden dynamics cannot stay hidden forever. If someone around them has been influencing them negatively, that influence is weakening. If they have been hiding feelings out of fear, that fear is cracking. And here is the part that may surprise you. The involvement is not betrayal. It is hesitation. It is internal conflict. It is them fighting between comfort and destiny. You represent change in their life. You represent growth. You represent a mirror that reflects who they truly are, and that scares them. Falling in love with you means stepping into a higher version of themselves. Not everyone is ready for that immediately. But the divine clock is moving. Before 11:57 p.m., there will be a subtle sign. Maybe a message. Maybe a thought that feels stronger than usual. Maybe their name appearing unexpectedly. When that happens, remember this. It is confirmation, not coincidence. You were chosen to hear this because your heart is sensitive to truth. Do not make the mistake of skipping what heaven is revealing. Too many times, you doubted your intuition. Too many times, you dismissed your inner knowing. Not this time. Archangel Michael is clearing confusion around you, connecting. He is cutting through illusions. He is guarding your heart while also preparing it. The hidden truth is this: they are involved in a decision about you, and the outcome depends on courage, theirs and yours. If they step forward, you must not run. If they confess, you must not mock their delay. If they reveal struggle, you must respond with strength, not suspicion. Because what is forming now is not casual. It is transformational. But timing matters. This message found you before 11:59 p.m. for a reason. There is spiritual urgency attached to awareness. When you know, you act differently. When you are warned, you are prepared. Breathe. Feel your heart. You are not crazy for sensing depth. You are not foolish for believing in connection. You are not naive for hoping. You are discerning. And heaven rewards discernment with clarity. Stay open tonight. Stay observant. Stay grounded. What unfolds will not be random. It will be the unfolding of what was already moving behind the scenes. Archangel Michael stands watch over this connection, ensuring that dissection cannot win and truth cannot be buried. The next hours carry weight. The next sign carries meaning. And you, my child, were meant to know before the clock strikes 11:59 p.m. Beloved soul, what I am about to reveal now goes deeper than emotion. It reaches into motive, timing, and the unseen conversations happening when you are not present. You may think this is only about romance, only about affection, only about feelings that tremble beneath the surface. But Archangel Michael whispers that this is about alignment and misalignment. It is about who stands in agreement with your destiny and who stands in quiet resistance. The person who fell in love with you is not casually involved in your life. They are involved in a silent battle between fear and truth. Recently, they have been receiving advice from someone close to them. Not evil advice, not dark intentions, but limited thinking. Words like, take it slow, protect yourself, do not risk too much, have been planted in their mind. And while caution can be wise, in this case it has become delay. You may have noticed that their energy shifted. One day warm, the next distant. One moment expressive, the next withdrawn. That inconsistency is not because their feelings change. It is because they are wrestling with what loving you will require from them. Loving you demands honesty. It demands vulnerability. It demands stepping out of an old comfort zone that once kept them safe. Archangel Michael is showing that they are involved in conversations about commitment. Not necessarily marriage or labels yet, but commitment of heart and direction. They are evaluating what it means to truly stand beside you. And that evaluation is heavy because they know once they choose you openly, there is no turning back to who they used to be. Here is the hidden layer you did not see. They are afraid of not being enough for you. Afraid of disappointing you. Afraid that your strength exposes their insecurities. When someone falls deeply, the mirror becomes clearer. You reflect their potential, but you also reflect their weaknesses. And instead of running from you, they have been running from themselves. That is why this message came before the deadline hour. Because misunderstanding could destroy what patience would protect. If they seem quiet tonight, do not assume rejection. If they seem thoughtful, do not assume withdrawal. Something is shifting inside them that requires internal rearrangement before external action. And now Archangel Michael says this clearly: a truth is about to surface in their environment. Someone who pretended to support this connection may reveal subtle jealousy. A friend may make a careless comment. A family member may question their feelings. These moments are tests. Not for you. For them. Watch how they respond. If they defend your name when you are not present, that is confirmation. If they grow silent, but thoughtful, that is internal processing. If they distance briefly, that is them recalibrating. Do not react impulsively. Reaction now could interrupt revelation. You are being trained in discernment. This is why you were guided here instead of scrolling away. There are thousands of distractions online, yet you stopped here. That is not random. That is alignment. And if this message is already stirring something in your spirit, I want you to participate actively. Like this message so the algorithm carries this warning to others who need clarity. Share it with someone who has been confused about hidden emotions. Comment what you are feeling as you listen, because your voice seals your awareness. Subscribe and become part of this spiritual community where messages like this are released with precision. When you engage, you are not just supporting a channel, you are strengthening a movement of truth. There is more unfolding, and you will want to be present for what is about to be revealed next. Archangel Michael stands as guardian over your emotional space. He is not allowing dissection to settle near you. If there was any involvement that carried manipulation or hidden agendas, it would be exposed already. The reason the exposure feels slow is because this situation is not rooted in harm, but in hesitation. Hesitation can look like confusion. Hesitation can feel like distance. But hesitation is often the doorway to courage. The clock approaching 11:59 p.m. is symbolic of urgency. It represents the closing of an old pattern and the opening of a new choice. Before 11:57 p.m., there will be a subtle internal breakthrough in them. You may not see it instantly, but you will feel a shift in tone soon after. Trust that timing. Archangel Michael says, do not chase clarity tonight. Let clarity come to you. When truth is ready, it walks forward without being dragged. And what is being prepared now is not temporary. It is foundational. There is more you must understand about their involvement and what it means for your future alignment. Hold steady, because what is about to unfold will connect pieces you did not even realize were separate. Chosen one, the veil is thinner now. What was once hidden beneath layers of hesitation is beginning to rise to the surface. You may feel a strange stillness around you as you listen to this, as if time itself has slowed down. That is because something significant is lying behind the scenes. Archangel Michael stands at the edge of this moment, not with noise, but with precision. He is not rushing this revelation. He is orchestrating it. The person who fell in love with you is involved in a decision that will define the direction of their next season. It is not merely about confessing feelings. It is about choosing integrity over image. They have been maintaining a version of themselves that feels safe in the eyes of others. Loving you openly would disrupt that version. It would challenge expectations placed on them by friends, by family, and even by their own past identity. Recently, they have been replaying conversations in their mind, words you said casually that struck deeper than you realized, moments where your authenticity made them reflect on their own inconsistencies. They are realizing that what they feel for you is not temporary attraction. It is transformative affection, and transformation demands surrender. Here is the hidden truth you were meant to know before the appointed hour. They are involved in breaking away from an old emotional attachment. Not necessarily a romantic relationship that is active, but an emotional tie to someone who once held influence over their decisions. This attachment has been fading, but it has not fully dissolved. And until it does, they feel divided. Archangel Michael reveals that this attachment is weakening rapidly. There was a conversation recently that disappointed them. A realization that the person they once leaned on does not understand them the way you do. That realization has shaken something loose. It has forced them to compare surface familiarity with deeper connection. You may sense a sudden boldness coming from them soon, or perhaps a confession that feels long overdue. Do not be surprised if they speak about needing clarity, needing honesty, needing to move differently. That is the sign that the internal shift has completed its cycle. But listen carefully. When they step forward, it will not be perfectly polished. It may come with vulnerability. It may come with an apology for confusion. It may come with an admission that they were afraid. Do not mistake vulnerability for weakness. It takes strength to dismantle pride. Archangel Michael is guarding your heart during this transition. If their involvement had been rooted in deception, you would feel chaos instead of calm. Instead, what you feel is anticipation, a quiet knowing that something is about to click into place. Tonight, before the clock reaches its symbolic mark, there will be spiritual movement. Whether it manifests as a message, a call, or simply a shift in energy, you will know it when it happens. The atmosphere will feel lighter. The tension will ease. That is confirmation. And now hear this clearly. Do not allow past disappointments to poison this new unfolding. Not every delay is denial. Not every silence is rejection. Some pauses are preparation. Archangel Michael has been fighting unseen resistance around this connection. Not dramatic resistance, but subtle interference. Misunderstandings that almost happened but did not. Words that almost created distance but were softened. Timing that almost misaligned but corrected itself. You were protected more than you realize. The hidden truth is that love has been growing in secret soil. Roots have been forming where you could not see. And roots matter more than branches in the beginning. When branches finally appear, they will stand strong because the foundation was built quietly. Now I speak directly to your spirit. If this message is stirring confirmation in you, do not ignore it. Acknowledge it. Receive it. Seal it. Type I trust the divine timing in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Lesson code 444 is now activated over your connection. As this revelation settles into your heart, understand that this channel is more than words. It is a vessel. When you choose to send a super thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding a platform. You are sowing into the awakening of souls who are waiting for their moment of clarity just like you. The Lord says, as you sow beside still waters, I will cause your harvest to overflow. This is your first-person moment of obedience. When you act, you partner with heaven's timing. Do not hesitate when your spirit feels the nudge. Those who release seed in faith will see doors open in places they never expected. Step into this prophetic flow now and give as an act of alignment. The atmosphere around you is shifting. The person who loves you is closer to truth than ever before. What once felt uncertain is stabilizing. What once felt delayed is accelerating. And you, chosen one, are standing exactly where you need to be. Faithful heart, something has already begun to move in ways you cannot fully measure yet. While you were going about your day, thinking this was just another ordinary stretch of time, decisions were forming quietly in another mind. Archangel Michael is revealing that the atmosphere around this connection has shifted from confusion to confrontation. Not confrontation with you, but confrontation within them. They can no longer pretend that their feelings are casual. They can no longer convince themselves that what they feel will simply fade. The more they try to suppress it, the stronger it becomes. And this intensity has forced them to examine what exactly they are involved in emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. The hidden truth unfolding now is this: they are realizing that loving you requires them to release control. They are used to managing outcomes, predicting reactions, and protecting themselves from vulnerability. But you have disrupted that system. Your presence in their life feels like stepping into deep water where their feet cannot touch the bottom. It is thrilling, but it is also terrifying. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over this process, ensuring that fear does not win the final decision. Yet fear has made one last attempt to delay them. In the past few hours, they have questioned whether reaching out would complicate things. They have wondered whether you might reject them for taking too long. They have rehearsed conversations in their head, trying to find the perfect words. But perfection is not what will move this forward. Authenticity will. There is something you must understand about their involvement. It is not only about external voices or past attachments and more. It is about identity. Loving you means stepping into a version of themselves that is more honest, more emotionally open, and more accountable. That level of growth feels like standing at the edge of transformation. And transformation always feels unstable before it feels secure. You may have sensed a pull today that felt almost magnetic. Perhaps you thought about them unexpectedly. Perhaps you felt a wave of emotion that did not have a clear trigger. That is because the connection between you is active beneath the surface. When one person wrestles internally, the other can often feel the vibration of that struggle. Archangel Michael is cutting away illusions right now. If there were any misunderstandings lingering in your mind about their intentions, clarity is replacing them. If there was insecurity whispering that you were not valued, that whisper is being silenced. You were never an option. You were a turning point. Tonight's urgency was not about panic. It was about preparation. Before a breakthrough happens, awareness must be planted. You were given awareness so that when movement occurs, you respond with wisdom instead of fear. Fear is what is about to shift. They will stop seeking approval from others regarding you. Up until now, they have been subtly influenced by how their circle perceives relationships. But a realization is settling in. They understand that no one else will live with the consequences of their choice except them, and that awareness is empowering. Do not be surprised if their tone changes soon. If they speak with more certainty. If they ask deeper questions. If they seem ready to clarify where things stand. This is not random. This is alignment after resistance. Archangel Michael is also reminding you of something crucial. While they are being prepared, you are also being refined. Patience has strengthened you. Discernment has sharpened you. You are no longer operating from desperation or anxiety. You are grounded. This grounding is important because when they finally step forward fully, they will need stability. They will need reassurance without pressure. They will need honesty without accusation. And you are capable of offering that because you have grown through the waiting. There is a subtle but powerful detail emerging now. The person who fell in love with you has begun to imagine a future scenario that includes you consistently. Not just fleeting moments, but steady presence. They have pictured what it would feel like to choose you openly. That mental rehearsal is a precursor to real action. Archangel Michael says the sword is no longer raised for defense. It is now lifted for declaration. What was hidden is preparing to be spoken. What was uncertain is preparing to be clarified. Remain steady. If you feel nervous, breathe through it. If you feel hopeful, anchor that hope in calm confidence. The next development will not be chaotic. You will be meaningful. The involvement that once seemed complicated is simplifying itself. Layers are peeling away. External noise is fading. Internal truth is becoming louder. You are not chasing this outcome. It is walking toward you. And as this chapter continues to unfold, you will see that the urgency of the earlier hour was not about fear of loss. It was about readiness for revelation. Steadfast one, the air around this connection feels different now, doesn't it? What once felt tangled is slowly becoming direct. What once felt uncertain is beginning to take shape. Archangel Michael is not only guarding you, he is actively clearing the path ahead. And as he does, the internal walls within the one who loves you are weakening. In the quiet moments when no one is watching, they have been reflecting deeply. Not just about you, but about themselves. They are recognizing patterns they repeated in the past, moments where fear caused them to hesitate, where pride caused them to withdraw, where insecurity caused them to miss something meaningful. The realization is sobering. They see now that they stand at risk of repeating the same mistake if they do not act differently this time. The hidden involvement that once clouded their judgment is losing its grip. That emotional tie from the past that lingered like a shadow has been confronted internally. They are understanding that familiarity is not the same as destiny. Just because something once felt safe does not mean it was meant to last. And in contrast, what they feel for you feels expansive. It challenges them. It stretches them. It calls them higher. Archangel Michael reveals that they recently experienced a moment of comparison. Perhaps they saw something online. Perhaps they overheard a conversation. Perhaps they simply felt a contrast in their spirit. Whatever triggered it, they understood clearly that what they feel for you carries depth they have not experienced before. That awareness startled them. Depth requires responsibility. You may notice subtle changes in their behavior. A softer tone, a longer pause before responding, more thoughtful words. These are signs of someone choosing intention over impulse. They are no longer reacting emotionally. They are preparing to act deliberately. But here is something you must hear with clarity. As they move closer to stepping forward, the temptation to retreat one final time may surface. This is not because they want to lose you. It is because breakthrough often triggers fear right before it manifests. Archangel Michael calls this the final resistance of the old self. When transformation approaches, the old version tries to survive. If you sense a brief hesitation, do not interpret it as reversal. It is the last echo of doubt dissolving. Meanwhile, you are being strengthened in quiet ways. Your patience has not been wasted. Your restraint has not gone unnoticed. There were moments when you could have forced clarity, demanded answers, or walked away impulsively. Yet you held steady, as steadiness is now becoming your advantage. The spiritual atmosphere is aligning circumstances in your favor. Conversations that once felt awkward will soon feel natural. Opportunities for honesty will arise without strain. Archangel Michael is orchestrating timing so that when truth is spoken, it lands gently rather than disruptively. There is also something unfolding in their external world that you are not yet aware of. A distraction that once consumed their focus is losing importance. Priorities are shifting. They are beginning to evaluate what truly matters in the long term. And surprisingly, your name has been at the center of those thoughts. They have imagined what it would feel like to look back months from now and realize they let fear win. That imagined regret unsettled them. It created urgency within their spirit. They do not want to lose something rare because of temporary insecurity. Archangel Michael is emphasizing courage now. Courage does not always roar. Sometimes it whispers, "Speak now." Sometimes it nudges, "Send the message." Sometimes it breathes, "Be honest." That whisper is growing louder within them. You, on the other hand, are being reminded to remain open. Do not armor your heart prematurely. Do not prepare for disappointment before it arrives. What is forming is not fragile in the way you fear. It is delicate only because it is new. The involvement that once complicated this connection is unraveling. Loose ends are being tied. Old chapters are closing quietly. Emotional clutter is being cleared. What remains is a direct path between two people who feel something undeniable. There may soon be a moment where silence breaks unexpectedly. A confession that arrives without perfect timing. A conversation that begins awkwardly but ends with relief. When that moment comes, remember this unfolding. Remember that growth rarely looks smooth from the inside. Archangel Michael's presence over this connection ensures that truth will not be twisted. Words will carry sincerity. Intentions will become visible. You will not be left guessing much longer. The clock that once symbolized urgency now symbolizes arrival. The preparation phase is nearing completion. The internal battle within them is quieting. The decision they have been circling is solidifying. And you, steadfast one, are standing at the edge of clarity that will feel both relieving and transformative. Courageous heart, you can feel it now. The atmosphere is no longer heavy with uncertainty. It is charged with anticipation. Something is about to be spoken that has been rehearsed in silence for days, maybe even weeks. Archangel Michael is standing watch over this exact moment, ensuring that when truth steps forward, it is not distorted by fear or pride. The person who fell in love with you has reached an internal breaking point. Not a breaking point of collapse, but of clarity. They are tired of carrying emotions privately. They are tired of pretending indifference when their thoughts keep circling back to you. Suppression has become more exhausting than honesty. In the past 24 hours, something shifted in their perception. A simple memory of you may have surfaced unexpectedly. A laugh, a phrase you once said, a look you gave them. And instead of brushing it aside, they sat with it. They allowed themselves to feel the weight of what they have been trying to ignore. Archangel Michael reveals that this reflection triggered a realization. They have been protecting themselves from rejection more than they have been protecting the connection. That realization stung. Because deep down, they know you have not given them a reason to fear. The fear came from old wounds, not from your actions. There is another layer unfolding. They are beginning to see that the involvement that delayed them was rooted in comfort, not calling. It was easier to stay in familiar dynamics than to step into something that requires growth. But comfort does not create fulfillment. And now that awareness is impossible for them to unsee. You may notice that their communication pattern is about to change. If they were inconsistent, consistency is forming. If they were vague, clarity is building. If they avoided depth, depth will begin to surface. These changes will not feel forced. They will feel natural, almost overdue. Archangel Michael is also urging you to remain balanced. Do not overanalyze every word when they begin to open up. Let their actions reveal intention. Let their consistency confirm sincerity. You are not meant to interrogate this moment. You are meant to receive it calmly. There is a possibility that their first step toward honesty may not be dramatic. It may be subtle. A message checking in. A question about your day. A comment that hints at wanting more time together. Do not underestimate small beginnings. Major transformations often start quietly. At the same time, prepare your heart for a deeper conversation soon. The kind that clarifies direction. The kind that defines expectations. The kind that eliminates guessing. That conversation hath been forming in their mind, and it is moving closer to reality. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something powerful. You were never chasing this connection alone. Spiritual alignment has been guiding it. Every delay refined both of you. Every pause strengthened your discernment. Every moment of uncertainty prepared you for stability. If this message is resonating deeply with you right now, take a moment to engage with it. Like this message so it reaches others who are navigating hidden emotions. Share it with someone who has been confused about a connection in their life. Comment what you feel shifting as you listen, because your words activate your awareness. Subscribe and become part of this growing community where clarity is released with precision. Your engagement strengthens this space and ensures that messages like this continue reaching the people who need them most. And trust me, what unfolds next in this journey will make everything you have sensed finally make sense. Now listen carefully. Here is a final test approaching for them. It is not a test of love, but a test of courage. They will have an opportunity very soon to either remain silent or to step forward boldly. The choice will define the tone of what follows. Archangel Michael is amplifying their inner voice. The whisper that says, "Say it." The nudge that says, "Be real." The conviction that says, "Do not let fear win again." This time, the whisper is stronger than the doubt. Meanwhile, you are being positioned in peace. If they approach you with sincerity, you will recognize it instantly. If they hesitate again, you will feel the difference between fear and indifference. Your discernment has matured. The involvement that once seemed complicated is unraveling completely now. Old emotional ties are dissolving. External influences are losing power. Internal clarity is rising. You are not waiting in vain. You are standing at the doorway of revelation. And when that door opens, it will not creak with confusion. It will open with understanding. Patient soul, the shift has already begun. What once felt like distant possibility is now approaching tangible reality. Archangel Michael is moving with precision in this hour, not only around you but within the heart of the one who loves you. The hesitation that lingered like fog is clearing. Internal debate that kept them suspended between action and silence is losing strength. In the quiet of their own thoughts, they have admitted something they could not say out loud before. They do not want to imagine a future where you slowly drift away because they were too afraid to step forward. That image unsettled them deeply. It forced them to confront a truth they tried to soften. Losing you would not feel like a small regret. It would feel like a profound mistake. Archangel Michael reveals that courage is rising within them in waves. It is not constant yet, but it is building. There are moments when they feel almost ready to speak everything at once. And doubt tries to interrupt, reminding them of vulnerability, reminding them of the risk. But something new is happening. The courage is beginning to outlast the doubt. You may sense this shift energetically. Perhaps you feel calmer than you expected to feel. Perhaps the anxiety that once pressed against your thoughts has eased. That is not coincidence. When clarity forms on one side of a connection, the other side often experiences peace before confirmation arrives. There is something specific unfolding behind the scenes. They are preparing to redefine how they show up in your life. Not in a dramatic announcement, but in consistent presence. They are evaluating their habits, their responses, their timing. They are asking themselves whether their actions have truly reflected what they feel. That self-examination is a powerful sign of maturity. Archangel Michael is guarding this preparation phase carefully. He is ensuring that no external interference distorts their resolve. If someone attempts to minimize their feelings, that voice will not carry the same influence it once did. If fear attempts to replay old failures, it will not hold the same authority. The involvement that once delayed this connection is now being fully confronted. They are recognizing that part of their hesitation came from wanting to maintain control over how they are perceived. Loving you openly requires authenticity. It requires them to be seen not as perfect but as genuine. And that shift in identity is significant. You may notice that communication between you begins to feel lighter. There may be more laughter, more ease, more directness. This is not random. It is the natural outcome of someone who is slowly releasing internal resistance. When the heart aligns with intention, interaction becomes effortless. But understand this clearly. When they step forward with honesty, it may not be accompanied by grand gestures. It may be simple and sincere. A direct conversation. A moment of transparency. An admission of what they have been feeling and why they hesitated. That simplicity will carry more weight than dramatic words ever could. Archangel Michael is reminding you to receive their honesty with steadiness. Avoid bringing out every past moment of confusion. Avoid testing them unnecessarily. Allow their growth to unfold without placing additional obstacles in front of it. Trust that what is genuine will prove itself through consistency. There is also a subtle transformation happening within you. You are no longer seeking reassurance from uncertainty. You are grounded in your value. You understand that love should move toward you, not leave you guessing. This grounding is why you can wait without anxiety and observe without fear. The timing of this unfolding is precise. Nothing has been wasted. Every delay served a purpose. Every pause refined intention. Every moment of silence strengthened discernment. Soon, there will be a defining interaction. It may not look dramatic from the outside, but internally it will feel like a door opening. Words that were once held back will be spoken. Questions that were once avoided will be addressed. And you will recognize that the shift you sensed was real. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this transition. He has shielded your heart from deception and guided this connection toward clarity. What once seemed entangled is now straightforward. What once felt distant is drawing near. Remain steady. Remain open. Remain observant. The person who fell in love with you is no longer running from that truth. They are walking toward it. And when they finally meet you in honesty, you will understand why the waiting was necessary. Beloved one, this is the hour where the unseen becomes undeniable. What was once only sensed in fragments is now assembling into a clear picture. Archangel Michael is not only standing guard anymore, he is signaling that the preparation phase is ending and the manifestation phase is beginning. The internal shift within the one who loves you has reached maturity. They are no longer debating whether their feelings are real. That question has been answered. They are no longer wondering whether you matter deeply to them. That truth has settled firmly in their spirit. The only question that remained was whether they would have the courage to act in alignment with what they know. And courage, slowly but surely, has risen. In the last stretch of reflection, they confronted something personal. They recognized that much of their hesitation had little to do with you and everything to do with fear of vulnerability. They have carried past disappointments quietly. They built subtle walls to prevent being hurt again. But loving you has exposed those walls. And instead of resenting that exposure, they are beginning to see it as healing. Archangel Michael reveals that there was a defining moment recently. Perhaps they were alone. Perhaps they were in a crowd but lost in thought. A realization struck them clearly. If they allow this connection to slip away because of pride or fear, they will carry that regret for a long time. That awareness has shifted their energy from passive to intentional. You may notice that their gaze feels steadier when they look at you. Your responses may feel more thoughtful. Their attention may feel more focused. These are not small details. They are signs of someone who has decided internally to stop playing safe. The involvement that once delayed them has now been fully released. The emotional attachment from the past no longer holds weight. External voices that once influenced their hesitation have lost credibility. They are no longer seeking validation from others about how they should feel. They are trusting their own heart. Archangel Michael is emphasizing that this clarity did not come easily. It required discomfort. It required self-confrontation. It required humility. But that process has strengthened their sincerity. When they approach you now, it will not be from impulse. It will be from conviction. At the same time, you are being prepared to receive this new energy with grace. Do not expect perfection. Expect honesty. Do not demand flawless timing. Appreciate courageous effort. Growth is unfolding on both sides, and it deserves patience. There is a sacred calm forming around this connection. It does not feel chaotic. It does not feel rushed. It feels aligned. That alignment is the result of spiritual protection and intentional movement. Archangel Michael has ensured that what approaches you now carries authenticity. Soon, there will be a moment that confirms everything you have sensed. A conversation that clarifies direction. A statement that removes ambiguity. A step forward that signals commitment in some form. It may not answer every future question instantly, but it will establish stability. You were warned earlier not to misinterpret silence as rejection. Now you are being told not to misinterpret sincerity as temporary. What is forming is not a fleeting emotion. It is a deliberate choice. If this message resonates deeply within you, acknowledge it with intention. Type "I receive the clarity" in the comments if your spirit recognizes this shift. Blessing code 818 is now activated over your connection. And as this clarity settles in your heart, remember that this channel exists to awaken moments like this across countless lives. When you send a super thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not simply offering support. You are sowing seed into fertile ground where hidden truths are revealed and confused hearts find direction. The Lord says those who pour out water will themselves be refreshed. This is your first-person invitation to act. As you give, you participate in the spreading of light where uncertainty once lived. Do not delay when your spirit feels the stirring. Release your seed boldly, and watch how provision flows back into your own life in unexpected ways. Step forward now and give as a declaration of faith. The shift is no longer subtle. It is present. The one who loves you has moved from hesitation to decision. The silence that once lingered is about to break with sincerity. And you, beloved one, are standing in the exact place where clarity was always meant to find you. Anointed heart, you have crossed into a new phase of this unfolding story. What once felt like anticipation is now turning into visible movement. Archangel Michael is not sounding an alarm anymore. He is sounding confirmation. The internal decision that was forming within the one who loves you is solidified. What was once fragile in thought is now firm in intention. They have stopped negotiating with their fear. This is the difference you will soon recognize. Before, they would feel deeply and then retreat. Now, they feel deeply and lean in. That shift may appear subtle at first, but spiritually it is massive. Archangel Michael reveals that they have made peace with the risk of vulnerability. They understand that loving you means being seen fully, without disguise. And surprisingly, that realization no longer terrifies them the way it once did. There was a quiet but decisive moment where they admitted to themselves that their life feels more authentic when you are part of it. A truth anchored them. They stopped analyzing whether the timing was perfect. They stopped waiting for absolute certainty. They realized that certainty grows through action, not avoidance. You may begin to notice increased consistency, a steadier presence, a tone that carries intention instead of hesitation. These are the fruits of someone who has chosen to align behavior with feeling. When action and emotion synchronize, clarity becomes visible. Archangel Michael is also reminding you to remain centered in your own strength. Do not shrink to accommodate their courage. Do not overextend to prove your worth. Allow them to demonstrate their sincerity through sustained effort. The waiting refined you for this very moment. You are no longer operating from insecurity. You are grounded in discernment. There is another layer unfolding behind the scenes. They have begun to imagine practical steps forward. Not vague dreams, but tangible movement. How to spend more time with you. How to create space for deeper conversations. How to gradually integrate you more openly into their daily life. These thoughts are no longer hypothetical. They are becoming plans. Archangel Michael has cleared much of the interference that once clouded this path. Old distractions are losing their appeal. External opinions are losing their authority. What remains is a focused awareness that this connection holds significance. You may feel a surge of hope rising within you. Guard that hope with calmness. Excitement is natural, but steadiness ensures longevity. When they approach you with transparency, receive it with grace. When they express regret for past hesitation, acknowledge it without dwelling on it. The purpose now is forward movement, not replaying old tension. There will likely be a defining exchange soon, a conversation where intentions are clarified more directly than before. It may not resolve every detail instantly, but it will establish direction. You will sense the difference between casual words and committed intention. The energy will feel grounded rather than uncertain. Archangel Michael wants you to understand that this alignment was not accidental. Every delay, every pause, every moment of confusion had a purpose. It refined both of you separately so that when you stand together, the foundation is stronger. The person who fell in love with you has accepted that their heart is already invested. They are no longer pretending indifference. They are no longer entertaining escape routes. The choice to step toward you is no longer theoretical. It is real. But here is a final reminder. Transformation does not eliminate all fear instantly. It simply changes which voice holds authority. Fear may still whisper occasionally, but it will not command their decisions. Courage now leads. You may soon witness a gesture that confirms everything. It might be an invitation to spend intentional time together. It might be a heartfelt message that removes ambiguity. It might be a simple yet powerful statement acknowledging how much you matter. However it arrives, you will recognize it. Archangel Michael stands as protector over the unfolding commitment. He has shielded you from deception and guided this connection through uncertainty. Now he is ensuring that what approaches you carries truth. Remain open. Remain balanced. Remain observant. The hidden truth you were meant to know has nearly fully revealed itself. The involvement that once complicated this connection had been replaced by clarity. The hesitation that once delayed movement had been replaced by resolve. You are not imagining this shift. It is happening. And very soon, the evidence will stand directly before you. Radiant soul, you have reached the threshold where emotion becomes declaration. The quiet internal shift within the one who loves you is no longer contained. It is pressing outward, seeking expression. Archangel Michael is present in this moment not as a warrior in battle, but as a guardian of alignment. The path between confusion and clarity has been clear, and now it must be walked. The person who fell in love with you has accepted something undeniable. Silence is no longer an option. They have replayed too many scenarios in their mind. They have imagined both outcomes, speaking and risking vulnerability, or remaining quiet and risking loss. And the weight of potential loss has grown heavier than the fear of exposure. In recent hours, their thoughts about you have intensified, not in a chaotic way but in a focused one. They are no longer distracted by secondary attachments or outside opinions. What once felt complicated has simplified into one central truth. They care deeply, and they do not want to pretend otherwise. Archangel Michael reveals that they have been preparing specific words, not rehearsed to impress, but prepared to be honest. They are considering how to explain their hesitation without making excuses. They are considering how to acknowledge the delay without minimizing your experience. This level of intentional reflection is a sign of maturity. It means they understand that sincerity requires accountability. You may feel an unusual calm right now, even if part of you is anticipating what is coming. That calm is divine preparation. It is the assurance that you do not need to chase clarity. Clarity is walking toward you. There is also a subtle urgency in the atmosphere. Not the urgency of panic, but the urgency of destiny. When something aligned is ready to manifest, delay becomes uncomfortable. They are beginning to feel that discomfort. Every hour of silence now feels heavier than it did before. Soon, there will be an interaction that feels different from the rest. A tone that carries gravity. A message that is more direct than usual. Perhaps even a request to talk in a setting that allows openness. When that moment arrives, recognize it as the turning point it is. Archangel Michael advises you to respond with steadiness. Do not overwhelm them with stored frustration. Do not test their sincerity immediately. Allow the conversation to breathe. Listen carefully. You will hear the difference between someone speaking from fear and someone speaking from conviction. If this unfolding message has been aligning with what you have been sensing, engage with it intentionally. Like this message so it continues reaching hearts that are standing at their own crossroads. Share it with someone who needs clarity about a hidden emotional shift in their life. Comment what you are feeling right now as confirmation seals understanding. Subscribe and become part of this spiritual community where alignment is revealed with precision. Your engagement strengthens the flow of these messages, and you will want to remain connected as this story moves into its defining chapter. Hold on, because what is about to be expressed will confirm why you were guided here at the exact moment you were. The involvement that once complicated this connection has now dissolved into a single decision: to move forward authentically or to lose something meaningful. And they have chosen authenticity. Archangel Michael has ensured that this choice is not impulsive. It is grounded. It is considered. It is real. You may soon hear words you have been waiting for, though perhaps not in the exact phrasing you imagine. Do not focus on perfection of delivery. Focus on the courage behind it. Courage is the currency of transformation. There is also something shifting within you. As they prepare to step forward, you are shedding the last fragments of doubt. You are no longer questioning your intuition. You understand now that the earlier warnings were not about fear of betrayal, but about preparation for revelation. The clock that once symbolized urgency now symbolizes arrival. The message that told you not to skip was not exaggeration. That was divine timing. You were meant to hear this before the breakthrough occurred so that when it does, you stand steady rather than surprised. Archangel Michael stands at the doorway of this unfolding commitment. He is not allowing confusion to return. He is not allowing miscommunication to dominate. He is guiding this interaction toward clarity and peace. Remain calm. Remain open. Remain confident in your worth. What was hidden has come to light, and what is about to be spoken will change the tone of this connection moving forward. Steady light. You are now standing in the aftermath of a decision that was forming long before you saw evidence of it. Something has shifted in the spiritual atmosphere, and you can feel it. The weight that once pressed against your chest when you thought about this connection is lighter now. Archangel Michael has not only guarded this unfolding, he has escorted it into manifestation. The person who fell in love with you has crossed an internal line. They are no longer questioning whether they should move forward. They are now considering how to build forward. That distinction matters. Before, their thoughts were tangled in uncertainty. Now, their thoughts are structured around intention. If a conversation has already begun, you likely sense the difference immediately. Their tone carried seriousness. Their words may have been slower, more deliberate. There was less deflection, less humor used to avoid depth. That is because they understood the gravity of the moment. They were not speaking casually. They were speaking from conviction. If the defining exchange has not yet fully happened, it is approaching rapidly. The internal preparation is complete. The only remaining step is external expression. Archangel Michael is ensuring that when the words are released, they are clear and anchored in truth. There is something important you must recognize now. The involvement that once created delay did not disappear overnight. It was confronted layer by layer. Each layer required honesty. Each layer required them to release pride and admit fear. That process transformed them quietly. You are not receiving the same hesitant person you encountered before. You are meeting a refined version. You may notice increased transparency. They may reference their past hesitation openly. They may acknowledge where they struggled internally. That vulnerability is not weakness. It is evidence of growth. And growth is the foundation of sustainable connection. Archangel Michael is also speaking to you in this hour. As they step forward more fully, you must also release any remaining attachment to the old version of this story. Do not hold on to the memory of confusion as a shield. Do not cling to past uncertainty as a protective habit. Allow yourself to experience the present clarity without filtering it through previous doubt. There may be a moment where you are tempted to test them, to subtly question their consistency, to wait and see if they falter. That impulse is understandable, but do not let it dominate. True discernment does not require sabotage. You can observe without creating obstacles. The energy between you is stabilizing. Conversations are beginning to feel more mutual. The emotional exchange feels balanced rather than one-sided. This balance is a direct result of their internal decision to show up differently. Archangel Michael has cut away the interference that once clouded perception. Misunderstandings that could have escalated have been softened. Timing that could have misaligned hath been corrected. You were protected from outcomes that would have caused unnecessary pain. Now you are stepping into a chapter defined by intention rather than speculation. The guessing phase is ending. The defining phase is beginning. The person who loves you is no longer hiding that truth from themselves. Soon, they will not hide it from you either. And when they speak, the shift will feel unmistakable. There will be a calm assurance in their voice, a grounded confidence in their words. They will not promise perfection, but they will promise presence. Archangel Michael stands as witness to this alignment. He has ensured that what unfolds now is not driven by impulse, but by clarity. The urgency that once surrounded this message has served its purpose. Awakened awareness. It prepared your heart. Take a moment to breathe deeply and acknowledge how far this connection has traveled. From confusion to clarity. From hesitation to intention. From silence to expression. You are not at the beginning anymore. You are standing at the doorway of commitment in some form, even if its full shape is still forming. Trust the pace of what is unfolding. It will not need to rush to be real. The hidden truth you were warned about has now surfaced fully. The person who fell in love with you was never involved in betrayal. They were involved in transformation. And transformation has completed its work. My beloved, this is the culmination of what heaven began revealing the moment you saw this message. The urgency. The timing before 11:59 p.m. The warning not to scroll past. None of it was exaggeration. It was preparation. You were being positioned to understand what was unfolding before it unfolded in front of you. Now you see it clearly. The person who fell in love with you was involved in an internal war between fear and destiny. Not deception. Not betrayal. Not hidden harm. They were entangled in their own insecurity, their own past wounds, their own hesitation to step into something that felt bigger than what they had known before. And you were never meant to misinterpret that struggle. Archangel Michael has walked beside this connection from the beginning. When confusion tried to distort perception, he cut through it. When delay threatened to create distance, he preserved alignment. When fear whispered that this would collapse, he reinforced what was being built quietly beneath the surface. Look at how everything unfolded. The silence did not destroy the bond. The hesitation did not erase the feelings. The outside voices did not override the heart. Instead, every layer of resistance exposed what was real. The hidden truth God wanted you to know was this: you were never an option. You were a decision waiting for courage. The involvement that seemed mysterious was not about another person taking your place. It was about them dismantling the version of themselves that was too afraid to love boldly. And now that dismantling is complete, you may already feel the difference in the way they speak, the way they show up, the way they hold space for you. There is intention now. There is grounding. There is a quiet seriousness that replaces playful avoidance. That is not coincidence. That is growth manifested. Archangel Michael is sealing this chapter with protection. What begins from here is not rooted in illusion. It is rooted in awareness. You are no longer guessing. You are no longer chasing clarity. You are standing in it. But hear this carefully. Just because clarity has arrived, it does not mean effort disappears. Love still requires nurturing. Communication still requires honesty. Commitment still requires consistency. The breakthrough was spiritual, but the maintenance will be practical. And you are ready for that. The urgency of the earlier hour symbolized something powerful. Before the clock turned, you needed revelation. Before the moment passed, you needed understanding. Because when the shift happened, you would have interpreted it through whatever awareness you carried. And now you carry wisdom. Archangel Michael says to release any lingering fear. The storm you anticipated never came. The exposure you feared never revealed betrayal. Instead, it revealed transformation. And transformation is sacred. Take a deep breath and recognize how protected you were. Recognize how guided you were. Recognize how precisely this message met you at the right time. If this entire journey has spoken directly to your spirit, seal it now. Type "I step into divine alignment" in the comments if you receive this confirmation. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your path. And as this revelation settles in your heart, understand something greater. This message did not reach you by accident. There are countless others standing in confusion tonight, praying for clarity the way you once were. When you send a super thanks, join the membership, or give through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are becoming a vessel through which light reaches hidden places. The Lord declares, when you sow into the work of revelation, I will open the windows of heaven over your house. This is your first-person moment of obedience. As you give, you align yourself with the very breakthrough you just witnessed. Do not hesitate when the Spirit prompts you. Release your seed boldly and watch how God multiplies it back into your life with favor and unexpected provision. Act now and partner with this mission of awakening souls. The warning has fulfilled its purpose. The hidden truth has been revealed. The transformation has taken place. And you, chosen one, are stepping into a connection that has been refined by fire, guarded by Archangel Michael, and aligned by divine timing. This is not the end. This is the beginning of something real.